What's up YouTube, Photoshoot here, and I'm back with another video. Yeah, it has been a long time, so you can see I'm still alive. Um, for this video I've decided to do another deck profile. I kinda missed doing those, but I didn't have much ideas what I could profile. Then I noticed that I forgot one of my favorite jank decks, which is Chaos End. Normally in that section I would talk about the deck, how it was back in the day and why I decided to profile it, but yeah, I can't say much about it back in the day. And I wouldn't say the strategy was pretty much underutilized. I mean, it's a chaos deck that runs more breaks, but it's still fun to resolve a Chaos Master and go for a level 8 synchro. One thing the deck has going for it is its easy access to Dark End Dragon. So this is one of those decks that would even run 2 copies of Dark End Dragon, which was, I would say, very rare back in the day. I saw some Edison lists popping up as well with the deck, but I'm not the biggest fan of running a Chaos End deck in format where you only have one Chaos Sorcerer. So I think the deck would still be relatively functional without the BLS by just running the Chaos Sorcerers. But yeah, just having one Sorcerer is kinda underwhelming. So I don't think the deck is very good there. The only thing I would say that speak for the Edison versions are 2 copies of Honest. Honest is obviously very powerful, but especially with Chaos Endmaster. It's something the deck is going for it. In 2011, besides that, you get a couple of more cards you could play, especially Toga from the Underworld, which is searchable by Sphere of Chaos. So that's a neat interaction, kind of similar to Flammable Pound searching Maxi in this format. It's not going to come up that much. I mean, you don't want to draw Sphere of Chaos since it's a break, but it's something nice to keep in mind. Yeah, so there are a couple of chaos variants I already profiled for this format, so this is by far the weakest, but it's some fun to play jank sometimes. So without further ado, let's get to the deck profile and enjoy. By the way, something I forgot to tell before. Shoutouts to Grid we started playing the deck before I even touched it. So I bought the most expensive secret rare engine. Or the most expensive jankest secret rare engine. But I'm digressing. So we run the namesake of the deck 3 times, obviously, Chaos Endmaster. So he's a level 3 a light tuner and a warrior, and its effect is when he destroys a monster by battle, he can special summon a 1600 or level 5 or higher monster with 1600 or less attack. So you can actually summon Baiza Shopka with this out of the deck. Just to mention, or even Destiny Hero Malicious. But the problem about Malicious is he is a Chaos Endmaster as a level 3 tuner, so there's nothing you can synchro with in the format. So yeah, he's basically the world's worst Fulham Knight. But he doesn't have to run over the monster when it's in defense position, so that's something at least. Then the only target you play is Sphere of Chaos. So yeah, you don't want to draw this card. This is basically a brick. But if you actually normal summon it, you can search a level 3 monster from your deck to your hand. He's also treated as a light monster. So something I forgot in one game against Gritskola was that I just mindlessly attacked into the Sphere of Chaos and he dropped Honest on me. So yeah, better read the card next time. So the protection effect, not surviving one battle, is also something that could come up here. But yeah, the only function of this card is to be special summoned out of the deck by Chaos Endmaster. So that's why we only run 2 copies. Because if we draw one, then at least we have one in the deck we could summon out with Chaos Endmaster. And yeah, sometimes you can only summon it. It's terrible, but yeah, you can at least make some use of it. With this card, obviously. So the interesting thing about Sea of Chaos is you can actually search out Tour Guide with it and Sangan as well. For obvious, so Tour Guide is obviously nothing I have to explain. It makes the deck more consistent with the Sangan, which actually searches out the Chaos Endmaster and or cards like Honest if you need it as a setup. So never came up that I actually searched Tour Guide with Sphere of Chaos, but it makes the normal sum or the tribute sum less bad because you actually get a play for next turn. What we also run is the Gale, so yeah, I thought to myself, yeah, let's run an additional level 3 monster, which is also a good single card, deals with a lot of stuff. So yeah, and if you're able to protect the Chaos Endmaster and can normal summon this, it's also some good synergy with the card. So yeah. Also, if you want to run it, you have access to Armor Master, but this deck doesn't make level 7s that much. So yeah, not sure. But you will see what I run in the extra deck when we get to it. Then obviously BLS and only 2 Sorcerer. This deck is kind of slow with getting stuff into the grave unless you resolve the Chaos Endmaster, so you don't want to break on too much Chaos monsters. I mean, you already run a break with the Sphere of Chaos, so I mean, you play Jank, but you at least want to play the game. And then we just run a bunch of good cards. 2 Thunder Kings, you could also run 3. It's a good normal sum, but you also have the Tour Guide, you have the Gale, so you have a couple of decent normal sums in the deck. So yeah, you can definitely cite the third one. 2 copies of Cyber Dragon, something that makes Sea of Chaos live or is generally a good beat stick, also deals with machine decks, and it also helps a deck that is a bit slower. Then Fire and perhaps we play Gors. I don't think I need to explain that. Honest, which is pretty good with the Chaos Endmaster, but also an instant kill with a Black Luster Soldier and double effect failure to protect our field. You could also run Maxi in this deck. There's one interesting interaction against agents, for example, is if they decide not to go into the Gachi, that you could punish them for letting the shine bolts on the field and resolve your Chaos Endmaster. So you could actually bait your opponent a bit, or you get the +1, but yeah. Maxi also lets us draw a brick out of a deck, so I'm not that high on the card anymore. I would definitely side it though. Then 3 Pot of Duality for consistency. This deck is not special summoning that much, especially in the early turns. And you need all the consistency you can get with this pile of jank. Then 3 copies of Forbidden Lands. This not only is good with your Chaos Endmaster, but also something to protect your big boss monsters like your BLS or your Sorcerer with. So a lot of use with this card. Something that also works really well with the Chaos Endmaster, but it's a good card on its own, is the Book of Moon. So yeah. Those cards are really good in specific situations with the Chaos Endmaster, but also pretty good on its own. Then, of course, one Heavy Storm, 1 Dark Hole, 1 Reborn. And because I already run 3 Forbidden Lands, I only run 1 copy of Space. Yeah, you can move those around. I mean, I obviously would keep at least 2 Lances because they are important for Chaos Endmaster. So, but I didn't want to run 0 spaces. Don't think that's very good. Oh yeah, and of course reinforcement, because it searches the namesake of the deck, because Chaos Antmaster is a warrior monster. So yeah, I originally ran a build with Maxis and Tracks, but I think it was a bit more bricky, so I wanted to play some more traps. Of course, the Solemns, Torrential, Trap Dash Shoot, especially if you resolve a Chaos Antmaster and establish a board. Trap Dash Shoot is really good. And 2 copies of Dimensional Prison. So those are flex spots. You could also run Mind Control in this build, which is could be good with Gale and Chaos Antmaster, or even running a Mirror Force. I talked with Fritz Kula about Mind Control, and I think he actually kicked it because it underperformed. But yeah, in theory, it also sounds good. Prison is strong if you play against TGs. Very important against Dark Worlds as well, to get rid of pesky Graphas. So yeah, they're in there for now, but yeah, you could actually run something else. So those are, like I said, flex spots. Then 1 Trishula, 2 copies of Dark and Dragon. So this deck is probably the best deck that can make Dark and Dragon. This card obviously gets better when Zenmates is in the format, but yeah, just having this single target removal is really, really good. It gets rid of Stardust. So yeah, this is probably the synchro you make the most in this deck. Then 1 Scrap Dragon, we still run this. I mean, Scrap Dragon, 1 Stardust, and 1 Fort Ruler. So yeah, you mainly make level 8s. There's no Colossal in here because you have double Dark and Dragon, and I don't think Colossus is that great. I only ran it in Scraps because I have the space. But I actually managed to win my first game here in this format when I summoned Colossal in the game. So yeah, shout out to Necro. And 1 Black Rose, 1 Ancient Sacred Wyvern. You don't make those that much, so Black Rose is obvious. And then Wyvern is kind of a flex spot. You could also run Blackwing Armor Master, but the only thing where you can make effectively level 7s is if you sink away a Gale or a Chaos Antmaster with a Thunder King. And yeah, it's a bit more likely you sink away the Chaos Antmaster. And Ancient Sacred Wyvern is just a game ender. So Armor Master is really, really strong, but I don't think you have to run 3 level 7s because you don't make them that much. You make those a bit more often by Neck and Orient. You could also run Armed Wing, but yeah, those are the most generic ones. You could actually consider Gaia maybe, but yeah, those are obviously the best 6s. And you make them with like a tour guide and a Chaos Antmaster, so, or Gale in the tour guide, so that those are going to happen a bit more often. Then 1 Cataster, 1 Armory Arm. Yeah, I was originally running Utopia instead of Armory Arm, but yeah, you can only make Utopia if you overlay 2 Thunder Kings, so yeah, I wasn't that big of a fan of it. And when I decided to put get the tracks out of the deck, and Utopia lost way more options to get summoned. So yeah, Armory was obviously also a kill with Utopia, with a Black Luster Soldier, and you can also equip Chaos Antmaster with it to get it to resolve. So yeah, that's never happened, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it happens sometime. You effectively make this with a 3 and with Effect Veiler. So I don't know. I still believe. Yeah, we play tour guide, so we play both rank 3s. You could maybe run the second Leviathan, but I don't know, I don't think you need this that much. Yeah, and because we main deck Cyber Dragons, we also run Chimera Tech. So that was the deck profile for this month. Obviously, those deck profiles were a monthly thing. But yeah, I kind of skipped over a couple of months because I wasn't sure what I was going to profile, but there is more coming up. So until then, see you soon and goodbye.